when you are into a marketing sphere, today I'm not going to talk too much about fundas, and also that you will be definitely learning while once the formal classes begin. But today what we are going to understand is how did this marketing actually start? So I would request all of you to take it as a story listening time. तो बचपन में story सुनते थे ना, parents से, बड़ों से, एक कहानी की तरह सुनो. So listen to it as a story that how has marketing evolved. And I'm sure you're going to be asking a lot of questions towards the end of the session. Do keep typing in your questions, and I would be very happy to address to all the questions which you have to ask. So I'll be sharing my screen with you all, and let's begin with this journey of marketing. I hope you all are able to see the screen. So I'm just going on. It's visible. So fine. So evolution of marketing. Now, if you see today's world, and this is the picture of Times Square. So this is how our world is looking today. You know, there are brands, there are products, and people are just trying to get your attention as a customer, and they want to reach out to you to purchase it. And they are using all sorts of tactics, and all that you would be studying when you would be going to get embarked on this PGDM course, and you would be learning different aspects of consumer behavior, marketing, digital marketing, etc. So there's a whole gamut and a very beautiful portfolio of marketing which awaits you. But before that, let us understand how things have evolved. So world was not like this before. The world was something like this, where there was barter system. I hope you all are aware of barter system. So it was where things did not have names. So it was rice, it was potatoes, it was grains, it was cloth or cotton. And what one was producing was using it, as well as whatever was surplus was being, traded. It was not actually trading for money, but then it was exchanged. So if I have more of fruits and you have more of grains, let's exchange it. And that exchange was on mutually agreeable terms. So this is how the world was when it started. And then you must have also heard about the Indus Valley civilization, where there were the first few incidences of coins, you know, the clay tablets or the clay coins, which had some impressions about on it. And people, when they had nothing to exchange, they used to give these clay coins, or these clay coins became copper coins, gold coins, जिसको हम कहते हैं सोने की अशरफियां भी देते थे. So this is how actually the business started. So if you have something, I will give you some coins in return, and that coin had value, and with that value you can actually go on and buy those things. So it started with the barter system. So if we see it as a story, in a land far, far away, there were only commodities. And these commodities were undifferentiable by the seller and manufacturers. You know, people were just having these products. They were just selling rice, they were just selling grains, they were just selling pulses or fruits or vegetables. It did not have a name. So today what we have is Ashirwad Atta. Today what we have is India Gate rice, basmati rice, right? But we did not have that before. So it was undifferentiable by sellers or manufacturers. They were often sold loose, and quality was highly variable. See, today my produce might be X quality, tomorrow my product might be Y quality. So I might be having a better product or an inferior product, but there was no guarantee about it. So now when more and more people started producing the same thing or having the same thing, the problem kya aane lagi? That people were going to somebody else and not to me. So how do I get the buyer to prefer my commodity? How do I stand different from them? Why should a person come to me and purchase that rice only from me and not from somebody else? So that was the question which was, boggling the minds of the manufacturers or the producers. So after this exchange or the barter system or the exchange era, people were also trying to figure out, how do I stand apart from the crowd? How do I get people to come to me only for my produce, right? So that was the question which they were asking. So the solution was very simple: differentiate, become different from the others. It's just like being an apple amongst the oranges. But then how do you differentiate? The differentiation came either through quality or through service. So somebody said, okay, you don't need to get a bag, I'll pack the rice for you and give it to you in at that time, maybe there was only paper bags. So I'll pack it. You don't need to get your own rucksack or a bag for yourself. Or I will differentiate because I take only good care, not only good care of my fields, but I also take good care of my customers. So you can exchange the product. खराब हो गया तो आप मेरे पास वापस दे सकते हो. So you were trying to find out ways and solutions how you can differentiate from others. And that is where you started connecting. But then this differentiation it started with, branding. As I just said, that the primitive way of branding was points. But usse bhi pehle, there were these seals. If you can see in the top right corner, there is X and S or a dollar sign which is there. And this was of iron. And these signages were heated red hot, in the furnace. And then it was normally used for cattle. So जब एक sheep के या camel के skin पे एक गरम iron की सीख लगा दी जाती थी, तो that place used to get burnt. And when it got burnt, then the hair never came at that place. And that is how they differentiated that these 5 camels are mine because they are having this mark on their skin. Or these 100 sheep are mine because it is having that mark on their skin. Today also, if you are moving around, you will see that when people, or especially the nomads, when they take around their sheep on the road, you must have been blocked. Your way must have been blocked sometimes by these big crowds of sheep, right? Herd of sheep. So sometimes you might see that they have some color on their hair, either pink color or green color, and you might be thinking, okay, they must have just celebrated Holi and come. That is the way of that person or the owner of those sheep differentiating his sheep from others. So he might be coloring the skin of their sheep or the hair of the sheep with a pink color. Somebody might be using a green color. And that is a very crude method of differentiating their product. So as we were talking about, I'm just going to the previous slide, differentiation is very important. So it became very important. How do I make my things different from the other? And that is where, the branding came. Even in Roman Empire, when the swords were made, each sword was made so different and it was marked different for the different rulers. So that is how branding came into being. And branding is coming from a very old Norwegian word, brander. And brander means to burn. So that is how branding. So today when we see Aquafina or Coke and there is a name on it, actually there is branding which is going on. So side by side, when this branding concept was there, people started believing, that it is I who's creating the brand. The manufacturers started thinking it is me who's creating this brand, not somebody else. But then they were sadly mistaken because you are not creating the brand. The brand is not what you are saying. It is what the customer is saying about you. I can say, or you can say, I'm the most hardworking student in the class. But unless and until your teachers, your peers, your friends say that about you, you are just bragging about yourself without any evidence. Similarly, maybe a teacher might say, I'm a very effective teacher in the class. But till the time the students feel that, yes, he or she is an effective teacher, the teacher does not become branded as an effective teacher. So similarly, it goes with any product or service. So a brand which you are creating is not what you are saying about yourself. McDonald's might say, I'm the best fast food delivery restaurant or quick service restaurant in India or across the world. But then till the time the customers who are going to McDonald's are not experiencing that quality taste till the time they don't say it, then it doesn't make McDonald's a big brand. You know? So branding, people were having that misconception that it is they who are making the brand, whereas before I start with the marketing journey and making this thing very clear to everyone that it is not what you are saying a brand is, it is what the customer should say about you, and that is what makes your brand a big brand or a small brand. Okay? So today we will be studying these 6 different concepts of marketing, how marketing has evolved. So we started with first, if you see on the topmost part, is the exchange concept. Now we will be going on to the production, product, sales, marketing, and societal marketing concept. Now, what are these concepts? In simple words, you know, as things kept on evolving, as the business kept on growing, people were experiencing some trouble, people were learning. And if you see, most of the concepts in marketing or management, if you see, is through practice. The practice which you are doing in the market is being then converted into theory. So it is what is happening in the world. Then we try and understand, oh, this is happening. So this is what the thought process must have been. So going on to the first concept, which is the production concept, rather the first one was the exchange concept or the barter system, which we just did. Now going on to the production concept, here the production was creating the demand. So it was like you are making things and people are coming to purchase it. And the whole thing was that more is the quantity produced, the more the products will sell. Why? Because at this time, and this time if you see, the time period was from 1800s to 1920s, the Second World War, that things were in scarcity. So people were having less of resources and they were, one second please. So people were, they were actually being guided by the manufacturers who were going on and producing things. So this is the time when maybe your grandparents had to wait for a year almost to have a motorcycle at home because the registration process was so long that they had to wait for almost a year to get registered for getting a motorcycle at home, or the telephone was just a black telephone with a dial system, or it was a time when the manufacturers were having this belief that customers will favor only those products which are widely available and low in cost. So here we come to a concept in economics, which is economies of scale. Some of you must have heard this term, read this term. And what is economies of scale? So just to explain it to you, let us say I have to manufacture just one toothbrush. To manufacture one toothbrush, at least I need some minimum amount of raw material, some plastic bristles, some color to put on the toothbrush. I need some people to manufacture that toothbrush. I need a factory setup. I need some machines. So there is some cost which is incurred to manufacture that one toothbrush. Now, what would be the cost of manufacturing that one toothbrush with so much of investment? It might go into lakhs, or I don't know, many lakhs, because there's a huge investment which has happened. Now let us say that instead of one toothbrush, I make 100 toothbrushes. So what would be the cost incurred for these 100 toothbrushes? Almost the same, but then the cost per unit, that each toothbrush will now be less expensive for me. And if I make lakhs and lakhs of toothbrushes, what will happen? The per unit cost of production for the toothbrush, that means each toothbrush will not cost me lakhs, it might cost me as low as 10 rupees. Or even 5 rupees, which I can sell at a profit margin. So during this production era, what was happening was the manufacturers were expanding their production capacity. They were manufacturing things, and that is where assembly line manufacturing came into being. That how do I make my production very less in cost? So availability was the biggest issue, that how do I make everyone have it, and how do I make my product available at a low cost. So managers, were concentrating on achieving high production efficiency and wide distribution. And this concept was very useful because at that time in 1920s, between 1850s and 1920s, the demand was higher than the supply. So whatever was being produced was being sold. So, and if by producing one product, my cost was too high, so the concentration was how do I make the production cost low so that each unit cost is reduced. So that is where economies of scale came into being. If you see, Henry Ford during this time had said that if I had asked people what they want, they would have said that they want faster horses. What does this statement mean? The statement means that Henry Ford was into manufacturing, and the first Henry Ford vehicle which he manufactured was a black colored car which looked like the picture which is given here, and it was called as a T model of it was called as a T model of the Ford car. And he said that any customer can have any car painted in any color as long as it is black. So he said that, the customer really don't know. They just need a product. Their variety is not the issue. So this was the production era. But then very soon his whole thinking was challenged by General Motors when they came up with their version of cars, which was much better. So the production era lasted till 1920s until people started believing, that why should just we concentrate on low cost? Customer is wise enough, customer bought smart hai, customer knows quality. So let us focus on quality. So from quantity and low cost, the focus changed into quality. And they started focusing on good products, good performance, innovative features. So the focus was on continuous product improvement. This was like, if you are seeing the GIF below, we look good. So how do I look the best version of myself? A lot of investment started coming into research and development. So बहुत ज़्यादा focus इस पे आने लग गया instead of just production. And people were like very much fascinated with product quality. Okay? So this also led to a problem. It led to marketing myopia. And this terminology was later on put forth by Levitt in 1975. And he had proposed that managers sometimes they view their markets from a very narrow and a product-oriented perspective, and this may result in missed opportunities because they must just think that we are good, but it is not maybe what the customer wants. The customer might be wanting still a low-cost product, or customer might be wanting something which you don't know. So the focus was being obsessed by the new and better version of the product. That is, sometimes it is said that sometimes it leads, to product failures also. That when you come up with a new product, innovative product, you are so obsessed by your product that you really don't want to understand what the customer is wanting. Mera product acha hai, isko chalna chahiye, but sometimes it does not work, and that is where you will see that the 80% of the new products which are introduced in the market do not see the light of the day, or they do not see any growth, or they just perish within few months. And why is it so? Because the company was very focused on their product, but they were not focused on what the customer is wanting. Okay? So the product concept really focused on the quality aspect of the product. And it said that it believed that, the customer is very wise. And if he sees a good product, automatically our product is going to sell. So a very quick difference between the production and the product concept. If you see, the concept of production was to make the product available in the market and at an affordable price. That means low cost, and distribution was something which was the focus of the production concept. Whereas if you see the product concept, it was to create good quality of product, and this should be reliable along with some unique features. So uniqueness, the newness, the innovative part, that is something which was the focus the product concept, right? So I hope by now you are quite clear in the difference between the production and the product concept. Now I'm going on to the next concept, and this was the sales concept. You know, when marketers had started making better and better products and still it was not selling, what would have the marketers thought? You know, the customer is not knowing the quality. The customer is not able to appreciate the quality which we are giving. So let us start telling the customer the quality features. And the production was in greater than the demand. So demand कम होने लग गई, production ज़्यादा होने लग गई, तो क्या होगा? सामान नहीं बिके, right? If there is more of supply, less of demand, then the things will not be selling. So now you need some people to sell those products. Okay, so that was the time in the 1960s where this sales people were in high demand. They were hired by companies, by manufacturers, by sellers, and they were to find out new markets, new customers, and try to sell the products to. Okay. So the focus was only to make the product purchased the customer. So they did not again try to find out what the customer was wanting. Okay, so I'm just going back to the previous slide again, just to emphasize on 2 or 3 more points that in the sales concept, you know what the drawback was? That a customer आया है मेरे पास, so अब मुझे ये product बेचना ही है उस customer. I just have to make this product push. So this push strategy was there. आप लोग ये marketing में भी पढ़ोगे बाद में that there is a pull strategy and there is a push strategy. So this was an era of push strategy. Transactional sales, कोई relationship नहीं है customer के साथ. मेरा product मैं आपको अच्छे से समझा रहा हूँ, आप ले जाओ and goodbye. Don't come back to me. If you come back to me, I might not even recognize you, or I might make the return of the products very difficult for you. So my focus was only to gain more and more sales. Maybe sometimes many of these sales profiles were also highly lucrative because people were being paid huge commissions and bonuses for doing those sales. But then the customer was getting smarter. You know, we all customers are very smart. So जैसे हम आज करते हैं, वहाँ पे भी उस समय customers ऐसे करने लगे, and we go to a shop and we actually eat the whole brain of the salesperson. The salesperson is telling using all his skill sets to make the product very attractive for the customer, right? So he's telling everything. After listening to everything, what do we say? सोचते हैं, देखते हैं, बताते हैं, वापस आते हैं. And what do? We go to the next shop, and then we go to the next shop, and then we go to the next shop, and maybe we don't even come back to the first shop which we visited. Why? Because everybody is telling you my product is good. So if everybody is telling you my product is good, as a customer, what will I think? Maybe they are bluffing. Maybe that is not the truth. I need to research more. So I immediately don't purchase it. And that is something when the marketer again is customer को क्या चाहिए? Why is he not purchasing my product? मैंने तो सब कुछ बता दिया अपने product के बारे में. अब customer को क्या चाहिए? So when this question comes into the mind of the marketer कि मेरा product तो अच्छी quality होने के बाद भी और sales person के पूरे effort होने के बाद भी बिक नहीं रहा है, तो ऐसी क्या चीज है जो customer को चाहिए जो मैं नहीं दे रहा हूँ? क्योंकि अगर customer को कुछ चाहिए and if I can provide that, it should actually just match. You know, there should be a marriage between the needs of the customer and what I'm serving, and I will be able to realize it into sales, right? So that is when the marketing concept has come into be. This is the time when customer research or understanding what the customer wants, how do I keep on collecting more and more information about the customer, this became very important. You know? So let me understand what is the competition doing, let me understand what is the need of the customer, and then I'm sharing this lot of information with other departments. So if a customer is wanting a portable, something like a portable air conditioner, summer, so let's talk about portable air conditioners. So earlier the air conditioners or the water coolers were big, huge. I did not want that iron, ugly looking air cooler. I wanted something very nice, sleek, smart, beautiful, which I can keep inside my bedroom or a drawing room and it should look good. And that is how you will see Symphony or Usha or any other company, they came out with newer and newer versions of air coolers or water coolers, which look smart, right? Which was sturdy to look. So this is how you gather first the information. So what will happen? If I'm gathering what the customer is needing, and then I start producing that thing, then there will be a pull created in the market, and the customer will be pulled towards the product, and he or she will start purchasing. Right? I will answer to all your queries and questions a little later because I just cannot see the chats right now. So let me finish and answer all your queries in case there are any. So let's now discuss the difference between the marketing and the sales concept. The first one, if you see the selling concept, the starting point is the factory, meaning मुझे जो बनाना आता है, I will make that thing. My competencies in my factory. So my focus is on existing products, what I make. And then I will sell whatever I am making and I will realize the profits through the sales volume. That is the first arrow, the top arrow which you are seeing. I'm just repeating again, in the selling concept, what happens? I'm producing goods in the factory. Right? Whatever goods I'm producing, or whatever products are existing in my portfolio, I want to sell and promote them or promote and sell them. And my profits will be realized through the numbers of sales. So volume. But if you see the marketing concept, it starts from the market first. In the market, I will be finding out what are the needs of the customer. Definitely, I'll have to go back to my factory and start purchasing, manufacturing those products based on my competencies. Now, let us say a customer is wanting a high-tech notebook, but my competency is not there. So even if I've researched and if my competency is not there, I'll not start manufacturing. So first I'll start from the market, understand the needs of the customer, and then after I have produced, the production stage is not mentioned here, but definitely it is produced, and then you are doing integrated marketing. Marketing using all the media, and your profit will be through customer satisfaction. Because here it is a pull. The other one, the first one, if you see, there is a push. जो बनाया है वो बेचना है. But the other one is जो customer को चाहिए वो हमने बनाया, and the customer will automatically be attracted towards the product, and my profits will be also definitely sales होंगी ज़्यादा, but at the same time I will be also realizing a lot of satisfaction in the customer. The recent concept these days is the holistic marketing concept. And here we are not just talking about the customers. We are talking about the internal marketing as well. How my employees are looking at me as my company. Because you see, these days, if an employee is unhappy, you will not spread happiness to your customers. So keeping the employees happy became another important thing. Integrated marketing definitely is there. Performance marketing is how do I actually relate with all the stakeholders, and relationship is with my society. So this marketing concept is also known as a societal marketing concept at times, where I'm not just bothered about my company's products and the profits which I'm giving to the customers, but I'm also concerned about society at large, my internal employees, all the stakeholders. So if you see in your BOP project also, which you have got, one of the topics which you've got in your BOP is the industry analysis, right? Some of you have, you can select any industry, select the company, and for that company, you have to actually research about the corporate social responsibility, which they are handling. So you see the corporate social responsibility is a part of the holistic marketing concept. So today, we are not just into this marketing concept. We are into this holistic marketing concept where we are concerned about each and every stakeholder of the company. So holistic marketing concept, if you see, It is considering the collective needs of the society as well as the customer desires and also the organization's profit. So the focus is on human welfare for the society, for the want satisfaction for the customers, as well as profit. So it is not that suddenly I become an NGO. I'm not an NGO, but then definitely besides making profits, besides satisfying, and the prime objective is satisfaction of the customer wants, I will be actually going in for the societal needs also, the human welfare which I'm concerned about. So a quick recap, what we've done. The barter system I have not included here because it was just exchange of goods. So we started with the production concept in which the customer is favoring the products which are available and highly affordable, improve the production and distribution. So here we talked about economies of scale, reducing the cost of each unit and also making the products available at all the points. The second concept which we moved on to after the production concept was the product concept, and it is saying that the customer will favoring those products which are best in quality. So the quality feature became more important and performance, innovative features, so that, but then you have to take care of things here that it should not lead to marketing myopia. Myopia is actually the word coming from the eye impairment, where it is called as short-sightedness. So you should not be short-sighted in your marketing approach. You have to look at the long term. And product concept sometimes leads to marketing myopia. This theory was proposed by Theodore Levitt in 1975. Then came the selling concept, in which even though the product was of good quality, very innovative, good in performance, but it was not selling. And then the marketers thought that the customer will buy products only if the company is promoting it and selling these products, because maybe the customer is unaware about the quality. So let's have salespeople who will be actually discussing the good qualities of the product so that it can sell. But here again, the focus was not on building relationship with the customers. It was more of only pushing the product to the customer. So sales was the prime objective. Then we come to the marketing concept, where the focus started with the customer. What is it the customer needs and wants? And then how do we deliver satisfaction to the customer better than the competitor? So that again, we are differentiation. If you remember, differentiation is the key. At present times, we're talking about a holistic or a societal marketing concept, where the focus is on needs and wants of the target market and to deliver superior value. So with this, I come to the end of my presentation, wherein I tried to explain how we are in the present times thinking of the society as well, apart from just the profits. So can I stop sharing my screen, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that then I can answer any doubts. Okay, so going back to the questions. I'm just scrolling down from the good mornings and reaching to the question. Okay, so Ashish has asked a question. It is the business process of identifying, anticipating, and satisfying customers' needs and wants. Ashish, I don't know if you're talking about the marketing concept, but yes, the marketing concept is the process in which you start identifying, anticipating, and satisfying the customer's needs and wants, and that is where the customer satisfaction comes from. Okay. Ford started the assembly line production firstly. If I'm not wrong, yes, definitely the assembly line production was started by Ford. Henry Ford was the pioneer in thinking of the assembly line production. For those students who don't know what is assembly line production, let me just give you a brief. Assembly line is that there is something like a conveyor belt, and just imagine manufacturing of car. So the whole car is not manufactured at one point, maybe at a particular point, only nuts and bolts are being tightened. then it goes forward, and then something happens more to the car. Then it again goes forward on the belt, then something more happens to the car, and that is what assembly line is. So in assembly line, definitely efficiency levels are higher and the cost of production is reduced. So there is why the specialization of labor also comes in. There is a particular labor, and many of the factory videos which you must have seen, there is a person who's just folding clothes. There's a person who's just making one stitch on the cloth. So they become so perfect that they start manufacturing that very quickly. Right? So yes, definitely Henry Ford started that. Okay, the difference between a customer and consumer. Somebody has asked, Dharmendra has asked that, what is the difference between a customer and consumer? So Dharmendra, a customer is a person who may not consume the product. You know, he might be just going and purchasing the product. But sometimes the customer might be the consumer as well when he's using the product. So for example, I am going to a grocery store and purchasing biscuits for my home, or maybe anything else for my home. I am the customer. If only I'm eating the biscuits, I become the consumer. But if my whole family is eating the biscuits also, then the family is the consumer. Okay? So that is the difference. Customer is a person who's purchasing the product, and a consumer is one who's using the product or consuming. Customer can resell the product and consumer only consumes. I don't know, customer can, yes, definitely, if you are talking about the organizational customer, so for the organizational purchases, let us say I'm purchasing cement from Binani Cement. So I am the customer and I can use that cement to manufacture something, let us say a house, which I am selling. So definitely for an industrial customer, I can resell it. For a customer, definitely an organizational customer can resell the product. But the basic difference between a customer and a consumer is the customer is what? A person who's purchasing the product. The consumer is one who's using it, or consuming it. Okay. And many people are actually trying to write the answers for it. Customer is the client and all. Ma'am, please suggest us some good marketing books. You can have some free ebooks. Kotler, I think, is available as an ebook, and you can download that as a free ebook. Or else, what we can do is I can ask admission team to circulate an ebook on marketing, which is very simple to understand, to all the newly admitted students. So that can be done. What are the main what are the main things which are included in consumer sales promotion? Sales promotion is different and marketing communication is different. So earlier it used to be the 4 P's: product, price, place, and promotion. But then when sales promotion came into being, and sales promotion is something which, you know, buy one, get one free, or discount or sales. So when all these things became very prevalent, then the terminology remained as promotion, but then marketing communication is something which took place of sales promotion. And what are the main things which are included in sales promotion? So if you're asking about marketing communication, it is usage of different media vehicles. You know, either you are using OOH. OOH is out of home media, hoardings, pamphlets, television, digital marketing, or the mobile marketing these days. And then you are having newspapers or print ads. All these are considered as different vehicles of marketing communication. So this course is there in our PGDM course, and it is one of the elective. And when you study that, how it is created, you would get a deeper insight in it. And most industries consider societal marketing concept. See, you cannot force a company to adopt a societal marketing concept. And according to the Industries Act, if your company is having a certain level of turnover or profits, you are required to allocate at least 2% of your earnings or income into something like as corporate social responsibility, which you have to do reporting of also. So it is bound for certain industries, but then definitely everyone should do it. It is not a compulsion, but definitely for certain big industries, according to the turnover, yes, it has become as a policy which you have to do. Thanks for the presentation. And books for marketing, I've already answered. MLM is push or pull marketing. Now, multi-level marketing, if you see, MLM is a short form for multi-level marketing. And some of you have heard of companies like Amway, Tupperware, Oriflame. Now, these are into multi-level marketing. Now, multi-level marketing has a very, very different concept. It says that let us make people interested into the business, and we are not pushing it. We actually want to create a pull. But there is a very thin line of difference between a pyramid structure and an actual multi-level marketing. Now, sometimes you must have also come to, sorry to actually divert from this. Suresh, sir, you do let me know if I exceed my time limits. Then we can handle it.
No issue, ma'am. We can take 1 or 2 more questions and then we can end up this session. Or the remaining question will be answered one-to-one in the mail, so that the students get the answers to all their queries.
Yeah, because I'm seeing 15 more messages, so I
No
really
issue.
don't
You
know.
can take 1 or 2 questions and then we can send up the answers to the questions individually in the mail.
Want to understand, they want to know marketing right now. Definitely we can have more sessions, so please don't get bothered. Sure. And today was just to make you understand कि marketing कहाँ से कहाँ तक पहुँच गई है, how we started from a barter system to societal marketing. I hope that was clear. I just want that feedback, that did you all understand what we discussed today about the exchange concept, the production concept, product concept, and marketing going on to societal. If you can type in that in the message box, I would get a fair idea whether you understood that concept or not. And definitely I'm trying to tell you about multi-level marketing, push or pull marketing. So, you know, in actual multi-level marketing, the thing is that if I am the distributor, I should create some distributors also under me, but I should also be able to pyramid structure is that sometimes, you know, what happens, the people are more concerned about only making distributors, and it is known as a downline. So जितने ज़्यादा distributors बनाते रहेंगे हम अपने under, उतनी ज़्यादा मुझे मिलेगा या commission मिलेगा या profit, then I will become a platinum member or a gold member or whatever, and I am automatically getting reimbursement based on the purchases which my downline is doing, and that is an illegal pyramid structure. So there is a bit difference, but again there is a very thin line to differentiate between what is an active pyramid structure and MLM. Which sales promotion technique involves promotion act to encourage the distributor to stop or sell more of a, we'll discuss that in sales. I'm not discussing it because again, the answer will go very long. Is just-in-time and TQM are nowadays the principal model of production houses, irrespective of the, yes, things are changing, you know, and again, keeping the assembly line intact, these are additional things. Total quality management, just-in-time is an addition to the assembly line. Assembly line remains there, but uske saath, how do I do my inventory management using JIT, or how am I assuring the quality using total quality management techniques is an add-on to the new concept. Okay. Which book of Philip Kotler, I'll tell, which is what is B2B marketing. B2B marketing is a business-to-business marketing when I'm actually trying to sell to business houses or other manufacturers. So let us say I'm Tata Steel, I'm manufacturing steel products, and that steel products are then used for making maybe dams or making big constructions. That sort of transactions or business transactions are known as B2B. Okay, so I'm getting thank you and crystal clear. Thank you so much. Can companies are able to create market demand? Okay, I think you need a different session to understand the difference between, because if I just answer demand, you'll again get confused. So there is a very big difference between what is a need, want, desire, and demand. And that is one question, very big conceptual question, which many of the placement companies ask, and that requires at least half an hour to discuss that. And can companies create a demand? Yes, definitely companies do create want for the amongst the customers so that they come and demand. But yes, there is a difference between need, want, desire, and demand. And
so can we wind up for today, ma'am? And
I
then
think so. Yes, there are
the
no
remaining
more
questions, I
questions.
will ask
There are
the
no more
admission.
questions, sir. I'm just
Yes.
getting thank
I
you
will
notes
ask the
from
admission
everyone.
team. They will answer all the questions, remaining questions, in an email, which can be commonly sent to all the students who have been attending today. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time and having such an enlightening session for all the students.
Thank you so much, sir. And thank you all dear students. Stay safe, stay happy. Don't get depressed.
Thank you all for joining. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.